Hello everybody, this is Lila in Hawaii. I've been doing a little bit of stitchery lately and painting, and if you know me, you know I like to paint cottages, so I thought I'd show you a couple I've been working on. This one is bigger, so this would be suitable for a tote bag, and what I did with this one was I painted the cottage. This time it's an English thatched cottage, and I've applied it to a big piece of chintz. Now the chintz had flowers already on, and they sort of indicated to me what I should do with the stitchery, but I really wanted to keep the focus pretty much on the cottage. However, I didn't want it to be too bright, and I thought at first it was maybe just a little bit bright, so I've covered it with plain net, just white net. So that's been stitched on. And then I did ribbon work. I think I used a little bit of thread stitchery here, but the rest of it I used ribbons. And I tried to keep it pretty much in the pattern form that was on the material. So the tree here has little blue stitches, and then they don't mean anything, they're just little blue stitches, but there were little blue sort of buds on that. And then this had sort of daisy-shaped flowers with a yellow center. And so I made a few of the flowers, just 2 or 3 of them, and a few out of some thread. And then I just made some French knots with ribbon for the yellow centers. Now this side of the cottage didn't have anything really. It had a little green bush, and I felt like to balance it, it needed something. So I just embroidered some green ribbon leaves and some blue little flowers, little kind of berry things, and some French knots and some little rosebuds. And that kind of is it. So this could be the front of a tote bag, and that's what I'm thinking that I'll do with it. And but that's as far as I've got. So the painting, of course, is done with acrylic, just on some muslin fabric. Nothing fancy, I just sort of blocked it in with a pencil and then colored it like you'd color in, really. So that's that one. Now this one's another one I changed my mind as to what I was going to do with this when I got started. First of all, I had made a patchwork piece with some old English and French fabrics, chintzes and stuff, and I had left a sort of a hole in the center because I didn't know what I was going to put there. And then I thought I would put ma maison in there, so I painted another little, just a very quick rustic cottage, very simple, nothing special, but it needed jazzing up. And as I said, this was supposed to be slow stitched, and I will probably add some slow stitching to it. So basically I just made patches around like this, and then sewed the cottage into the front of it, and then added some lace trim here and a stamped image, I think. What does that say? I don't know, some sort of a stamp thing I have there. And then this is a date stamp, and it says 1876. This stamp came out a bit light, so I went over it with a Pigma pen. And I have embroidered quite a few flowers. I don't often use red, but I like the red, a little shot of red. It sort of jazzed things up. And on this side I've done 2 kinds of roses. I've done roses and rosebuds. So today I'm going to do a couple more, and I thought I'd show you. I've got a different method than I've seen around for doing roses. So I've done this sort of a trail of roses here, and a couple of buds there. And then on this side, of course, I've got 2 roses and some buds. So I've already threaded a piece of silk ribbon. It's 7mm wide silk, and I'm going to show you how I do a rosebud my way, if I can. I think what I'll do is I'll put it actually, why don't I put it there? See, there's a little red bit there. I think I'll put it there. So what I do for this particular one, I've already threaded the silk. I'm just going to do one, show you how I do it. So I take hope you can see this. I take the ribbon. I don't iron it. It's a little bit wrinkled. That's okay. And I wrap it around there and then do running stitches like this. Just little running stitches, higgledy-piggledy. They don't have to be too accurate. Till I get to the bottom. And then I put that back down near where I came out. And there's my rosebud. And then sometimes, you know, I have to kind of give it a bit of a turn. So there's the little rosebud there. So I put that there. Maybe I will do another one since I've got more. Then I brought out a piece of darker ribbon. I'm going to show you how I do my rosebuds, which is also a little bit different. Okay, so I'll do another one up here, I think. And I'll do a couple of buds up there. So I'm going to go through to the back and just fasten this off here. I don't have a whole lot of ribbon. I just cut short pieces, so I didn't want to make too many blossoms. So I'm tying a knot on the end. Okay, so I've done one there. So there's one rosebud there, and I think I will do the other one there. Again, this is a rose, not a bud. Is that in frame? Kind of hard to do this so that you can see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is go like that, there this time, and I'm just going to go I've got a little knot on the end of it there by the needle, and I'm taking, probably more than 1 centimeter, perhaps even ½ an inch, little stitches, or big stitches you might say. So now I've got it to that point, and I'm going to see what happens. Sometimes it's a surprise, doesn't do what you think it's going to do. Here's the needle. There it is. Now with that one, it's a bigger loop there, but that's okay. So that's another rosebud. I don't have enough on the back to make the secure stitch. So what I do when it's like that is I get my needle and thread later, and I come to the back and I secure that. And then if there's something, you know, like this that's sort of sticking up more than I want it to, here, I'll maybe do a little fiddle with that. Anyway, that's that. Now I'm going to do a bud. Maybe it's easier to do a bud on the camera. The way I should have had a bigger needle too. Sometimes it's easier when it's coarse fabric if you've got a wider needle. But anyway, I'm fastening it onto the needle like that. Okay, and I put it pretty much up to the eye like that. And then the other end, which is the end, you know, I always just do an overhand knot on the end like this. Just tie a little knot in the end. There is a different way I do sometimes, but can't be bothered. So there you go. So now I've put that rosebud there, and it looks a little lonely. So what I'm going to do, let me see if I can pull this around. What I'm going to do is do a little bud there beside it, because there is that little red mark. So the way I do the buds is gosh, just cut that bit off because that shouldn't be there. Okay, the way I do the bud is like a candle wicking stitch, but I do it with 2 wraps like this, and I put it sort of behind where I came out, and this makes a little bud that sort of stands up a little bit. Oh my. So there it is, there's the little bud. And I never like a bud to be too lonely, so I'll do another one over here on the lace. So the way I do it is I tuck the needle under the ribbon like that, wrap it around twice, then go just behind where I came out and poke it down through. Where's the needle? There it is. There. And so there's my other bud. They have a little dimple in the top. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little dimple in the top, and then they stand up. They stand up, raised up from the fabric. So that's always cool. I like that. So anyway, that's going to be that. And when it's finished, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I have a lot of painted cottages on fabric, and I need to dispose of some of them. So I will be putting some on my site eventually, and I'm going to have a giveaway of one of them too if you want to try your hand at making your own embroidered cottage. But anyhow, that's what I did today, right there, this and this. And I will put a couple of, I don't have green, but I'll put a couple of little green leaves here. Like, you know, sometimes I use like the bud technique, or sometimes I use this kind of technique for the leaves.